Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Salim Akhtar Malik, your host at the Observation Post channel. On this channel, we discuss issues of national and international importance, security matters, and important events from the military history. You can interact with me at my Observation Post channel, which is on the YouTube. You can do this by giving your views uh, on my channel. The transcripts of my videos are available on solicitation at Twitter on my Twitter address at Salim Akhtar 53. In this session, we'll be discussing about the incident in which a Chinese container ship named Ever Given was stuck up in the Suez Canal, blocking it for nearly a week. On 23rd of March this year, Ever Given, the Chinese container ship, which was carrying cargo from China to the Dutch port of Rotterdam, got stuck up in the Suez Canal, blocking the canal for around 1 week. That is till 29th of March, when it was refloated after a very complex rescue operation carried out by hundreds of workers and the Suez Canal Authority. The container ship, how did it get stuck up in the canal? It is said that it had hit while moving along the canal, it hit the southern portion of the canal and got wedged in between the two banks, between the opposite banks of the canal, and reportedly the ship was hit by a sandstorm, by a heavy sandstorm, which battered it with strong winds and reduced the uh, observation to such a level that it could not be uh, steered through the canal. And this mishap happened. Large ships, that is container ships as well as cargo ships, while moving through narrow waterways, mind you, this Suez Canal is 193 kilometers long. So it is with effort that the ships steer through it, and for that the Suez Canal Authority employs pilots who pilot the ships through the canal. So while the ships are moving through the canal, they have to move one by one in order to avoid any mishap. However, you can never discount the unforeseen, and this is what happened to uh, the ill-fated ship Ever Given. When this happened, the conspiracy theorists around the world started churning out and weaving their theories different theories as to how it happened and what was the reason. There was one theory which gained very popularity and was given credence by think tanks the world over, and that was that the ship was stuck up as a result of a rehearsal which was being carried out to blockade the Strait of Malacca in a future war between the United States and China, a war in which India will be the strategic partner of the United States. And people believed in it because of one factor, that most of the crew, rather the entire crew of the ship, the container ship, was Indian. Yet another conspiracy theory said that it was an excuse uh, based on which Israel and the United States were planning to construct a canal, another navigation canal linking the Mediterranean with the Red Sea. And this canal would pass through the Israeli territory and will be a substitute for the Suez Canal. So we'll discuss about the Israeli canal in my next video. In this video, I'll concentrate and focus on the first conspiracy theory, that is, it was a rehearsal for blocking the Strait of Malacca in a future war between China and the United States. The Strait of Malacca is a narrow waterway between Indonesia and Malaysia, through which most of the world shipping pass, that is, the world shipping carrying oil and its products from as far away as Venezuela and South America, Angola and Africa, and the Middle East, which include the Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, and other oil producing countries in the region, that is Libya, etc. However, the shipping is not China specific. China imports its oil products, crude oil, as well as other raw materials uh, from the Middle East, Africa, and as I said, from South America, which pass through this canal, through the Strait of Malacca. But it is not only China. Other countries in the region, which include the ASEAN countries, Australia, Japan, even the United States also uh, have their imports and exports pass through this strait, that is the Strait of Malacca. So this is a very fantastic theory uh, about which Indians had been talking for quite a long time. Indian think tanks and journalists, etc., even politicians, that India can block the Strait of Malacca in a future war with China, in which either the United States and India would be allies, or even in a war which would be fought between China and India alone. However, as I said, it will not only affect China. If the strait is blockaded, it will not only affect China but also other countries in the region also. Now, the Indians, why are they so excited about it? For some psychological reason, they want to repay China in this region for what it had been doing to India along the line of actual control between China and India. And in this desire, in this secret desire of the Indians, they are supported by the Western think tanks and other players. For example, Larry Bond, a British naval author and the creator of um, a number of war games, has stated that it will be very easy for India to blockade the Strait of Malacca. All it has to do is to park its ships at the mouth of the strait and it will be blocked. But as I said, will it be blocked only for Chinese shipping? When it will be blocked, it will be blocked for all the countries which use the strait, that is the Strait of Malacca, for their shipping. So this is a very airy fairy tale which is being spread out. Now, what is the fact? The fact of the matter is that since quite some time, India and the United States have been in a tight embrace, in which about which both are excited. The United States has redesignated India as its strategic ally. A country which was rebuffed by the United States during the Cold War for sitting on the fence has now been redesignated by it as its strategic ally. And for that, the United States has taken 3 steps. The first step is that it has redesignated the United States uh, Pacific Command as the Indo-Pacific Command. This is a symbolic gesture which gives India importance in the Indo-Pacific region and acknowledges India as a strategic partner. The second step taken by the United States is that it has organized a number of tri-service exercises under the umbrella of Quad. Now, the so-called Quad is an organization or an arrangement which includes the United States, Australia, Japan, and India. And since the United States has always been uh, in the habit of raising coalitions, whether those be the coalition during the Korean War or the Vietnam War or the Afghan War. This is the latest coalition which the United States has raised against the perceived threat from China. So it has, under the umbrella of this organization or arrangement, security arrangement, Quad, organized a series of tri-service exercises which have taken place between the members of these states, the member states. And these quad exercises are aimed at honing or fine tuning the drills for a future confrontation in the South China Sea and in the overall Asia Pacific region against China, against the perceived threat from China. Now, after these three, the third one, the third step it has taken is that it has started providing COMCASA uh, compatible electronic equipment to India. Now, COMCASA stands for compatibility, compatibility and communication security arrangement. CASA equipment is the cutting edge technology electronic equipment which the United States has only provided to its NATO allies, Japan, and Israel. This gives a secure communication networks to the operating countries. Now, India is the recent recipient of the COMCASA compatible equipment. It consists of wireless sets and related equipment, and I'll give you the examples how it will benefit India, particularly the Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. In case of uh, an Indian raid against Pakistani or Chinese targets during a future war, the C-130J transport aircraft, again provided by the United States, which will be carrying commandos to the raid site, will be able to communicate with the advanced ground elements near the raid site on secure network. Now, this facility is not available to the Indian Air Force at present, but as the uh, equipment is being inducted into Indian Air Force, it will have this facility in the near future. Secondly, the Indian Air Force P-81 long-range maritime patrol aircraft, again bought from the United States, will be able to communicate with the entire spectrum of Indian Navy's and Air Force assets, which will include the fighter planes, uh, airborne early warning radars, tankers, that is the air refueling tankers, submarines, surface ships, etc. So these will be interconnected. These would be able to communicate with each other on secure nets. This facility is not available to India, that is Indian Air Force, Navy, as well as Indian Army at present. Now, with these uh, communications, secure communications, Indian military will be able to formulate an accurate picture of the battle area, based on real-time information and transfer this information not only to its own assets but also to its American allies. So that is the reason for all this. The task which has been given by the United States to India is to monitor the movement of Chinese submarines, particularly the nuclear submarines, through the uh, Strait of Malacca. So this is the reason. It is not to blockade the Strait of Malacca, but to monitor the movement of Chinese submarines. Now, this will be a two-way affair. In case they monitor the movement of Chinese submarines, China will also monitor their movements. China is also now scientifically and technologically very advanced. It is more advanced in some fields than the United States uh, and its allies, particularly in the 5G technology. Now, let us at the end consider a theoretical situation, a scenario in which India is uh, successful in blockading the Strait of Malacca. Now, I have spelled out that it will be a futile effort to blockade the Strait of Malacca because it will not harm Chinese shipping only. It will stop the shipping of all the countries which are utilizing this strait for their trade. However, if India blockades this strait, China has made alternate arrangements to avoid passage of its shipping through the Strait of Malacca. How? It has created over a period of time the China Pakistan Economic Corridor, which provides the Chinese western provinces of Xinjiang and Tibet the shortest route to the Indian Ocean. By passing through this corridor, uh, which ends at the Gwadar port, which is located at the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz, another important waterway, strategic waterway through which most of the world's uh, oil passes. So China has the facility of CPEC to avoid shipping through the Strait of Malacca. And besides that, it has also created a rail link with the European countries. So China will not as much affected with the theoretical blockade of the Strait of Malacca as would the other countries be, because they don't have these arrangements. So this is all which I wanted to discuss in this session. We will be discussing the Israeli plan or the so-called Israeli plan to link the Mediterranean with the Red Sea by digging a canal through Israeli territory. The canal which will be a substitute for the Suez Canal, as some people say. So till then, bye-bye.